Hey everyone, Psychedelic here, and coming back at you with 5 new arrivals since I last been on here, and including like 3 reissues I've been really anticipating for, a couple originals I got on the cheap end, one private press, and um, a progadelic sort of record you could say. And but before I get to that, I was going to mention if you guys want to check out my Discogs, I actually just added on Sunday probably 25 at least new items for sale. And there's stuff I really don't want to get rid of, but it's stuff I just acquired and, probably spun only once or twice and it just sits on the shelf. It's kind of one of those things. A lot of the stuff is, but, and it's not all just psych, but it's just kind of a mixed bag of things I listed on there. And conditions kind of vary, they're not all mint condition, but and I can put fair prices on them. So if you guys want to check out the list, I'll put the link in the description so you can check out what I got for sale. Um, I'm actually trying to kind of filter out some things just because just for one, it's fun to do that sometimes, get your money back on things, but also I paid up for a couple grails from an Instagrammer who I've known for a long time, and he's actually getting rid of his uh, record collection, kind of selling it off fairly fast, I would say. It's gone really well for him, so I picked up a couple grails I've never expected to own, a couple nice sight grails, so um, be looking forward to that probably next a week or two. We'll see when he ships them out because he's got a lot of mail orders coming in, so it's going very well for him. So like I said, check out my inventory. It's in the description below. Anyways, let's move on to these records here. So yeah, we'll start out the way I got them, like usual, and starting off with this one. This is an album I've known a long time, and I knew it was kind of like a one-track sort of record, kind of like a one-track wonder, you could say. But I took a chance on it because it does go for a little bit of cash, and I actually got it on the bid, which I was kind of surprised I did. So this is a band called Ice with their album Melting Your Mind. And sad to say this is not a mind melter, but it is kind of it's a cool album for what it is. I may part with this down the road, but we'll see. So this is kind of a band based out of the Chicago region, and they played some clubs around the time, supposedly, and even way before this LP came about, they were trying to record some stuff, and they were kind of I don't think it really was laid out very well in the studio. They may have been a better band live, but this studio recording is kind of like a mediocre for most listeners, but I quite enjoyed, at least half of it, I would say. But it's mostly known for one track ending on side one called Five Card Draw. It's like a 4 minute kind of jam band sounding fuzz Latin jam band track, I guess you could say. Sort of in the vein of like Farm, you guys know that album for that band, and kind of like a Grateful Dead sort of vibe. But it's really rocking, and it's got some piano chords and stuff, but it's a good track. The remainder of it kind of meanders around like a folk and just kind of a basic rock sound from the West Coast. Kind of still has that 60s vibe, and this came out in like 72 or 75. A couple of the years are sketchy on this release. It says recorded in 1972 on the back, but some sources say 75, but who knows. But yeah, overall it's nothing mind-blowing, like I said, and if anything, Ice might freeze your mind instead of melt it, but unless you're really a hothead or something. But yeah, it's interesting. Not the best vocals. They're just about average, kind of mediocre vocals actually. So glad I took a chance on it. Got it, at least over half the value of this, and pleased to pick it up and give it a full listen for once. And it's actually only 22 minutes long, very short disc. So I'm glad I did not pay the price it's going for now, which seems to be, if you want a nice copy, it's around the $100 range. So there's that one. And very pleased to pick this one up as well to support both Dylan at Noble Records, but also Writing Easy Records, who finally saw a vinyl release of this classic record. Picked up Population 2, Randy Holden. I've been wanting this a long time, but I was kind of waiting for a legit reissue to come out. And, you had the 2005 reissue, which, was kind of sketchy. And some of the, just a lot of, it's an album that has been known to be a victim of bootlegging and just numerous pressings coming out that just have odd history to them, including the original Hobbit release, which is just kind of in the air as far as being known if it was actually released by Hobbit, because some copies have apparently scattered about, but there's also some very convincing pressings on Hobbit that have some of the all-time collector status people kind of question it. But this is a signed copy by Randy, and I'm also Facebook friends with him, but I don't know if he's active anymore. But yeah, if you see Dylan Noble Records interview with this man, it's worth a listen. The only disappointing thing, and that's not really my fault, it's just simply because I bought it, just to support Dylan. But I did not know there was going to be, a whole bunch of variant colors. I didn't really do my homework on it. I saw Dylan's post on Instagram, I believe, and I just kind of said, okay, I'll take this copy. And it looks like he was selling yellow colored vinyl only. And I thought maybe that was going to be it. I didn't know there was going to be a purple, is there an orange one? And a black vinyl copy. And I got to be honest, I'm not big on colored vinyl. They always tend to be pretty noisy. This one sounded fine, and yellow was, if I had a choice between the colors, I would have chose purple. But, like I said, I didn't know, so it's really my fault, But I'm not displeased anyway. I'm very happy to own a physical copy of this because I love this album. As long as I have the physical media, I'm happy. But love that gatefold. It's like 16 Sun amps. So if you guys don't know the story, you could check out Dylan's interview with the man. Basically, kind of got screwed over by Hobbit Records and no promotion at all, and he was really, looking for this ambitious heavy psych masterpiece to become, something he could be proud of, and it just kind of sunk into the abyss, I guess. And having his involvement with Blue Cheer and the other half, it's very understandable that all the groundwork that was already laid, he was ready for something more, and this one just did not take off as he wanted to. My favorite tracks probably include, I love the version of Fruit and Icebergs on this. And I also love Between Time, even though it's so short. It's kind of a short record as well. It doesn't last very long. Like, it could have had some more material, but I love the whole concept going for it, and he is quite a blistering, proto stoner rock kind of guitar god, if there was one. So I'm very pleased to pick this up. So thanks, Noble, for hipping me up with this, and glad it came safe during this heat wave we've had over the past couple of weeks. I was kind of worried about some of these records coming in because packages were really hot, but they all turned out all right, so no need to worry there. Anyways, this is one I picked up on just recently. I was very happy to find this on eBay for a buy it now price of 18 bucks. And I never see it that low. And for the condition it's in, and this plays VG++, never see a better deal these days for Egg's self-titled debut on Duram label. This is the US press, and usually this is pretty ring worn. It looks a lot more ring worn in the light there, but when I look at it this way, it doesn't look too bad. But usually these covers are pretty beat with that black texture. So yeah, Egg was basically you could call it a sophomore effort by Arzachel, who released, an album on Roulette. Hint, hint, it's my grail coming in. Anyways, yeah, very pumped about that. So Egg basically is the same band as Arzachel, but leaves out Steve Hillage, who was part of that group, and then it just kind of declined into a trio. And this is very more keyboard oriented, keyboard dominant, progressive rock with some Canterbury flavor for sure. It's very Canterbury inspired. It's not the first band I think of when you throw the term out, but they were definitely a crucial part of the scene. Anyways, let's see. Yeah, it's got some classical kind of writings throughout as well. Fugue in D minor. And they kind of have that British sense of humor thrown in a lot of title tracks, and sometimes the way they play is kind of very playful. Sort of reminiscent of, bands like The Nice, ELP, those sort of sounds. It's a very enjoyable listen. So this is one I've known a long time. My favorite track is the last track on side one. Well, technically second last track. The Song of McGillicuddy. It's a long title. And then parentheses. Or don't worry, James. Your socks are hanging in the coal cellar with Thomas. Can't make that stuff up. So, yeah, very pleased to find this for a great deal. Original sleeve, like I said, plays VG++. I mean, barely any surface noise. So, quite the deal there. You never see it go that low. Makes you wonder why, sellers go that low, but just to get a quick buck, I guess. I don't know. These next two I'm really pumped about the most, probably. And so what I meant by the beginning of the video when I said one of them was actually an accident is by the same seller who sent me these two. The first one I got was this, and this is something I've been wanting down the road, but he actually accidentally sent this to me by accident. It was kind of like, I was kind of disappointed, but at the same time I'm like, can I still keep this? I don't want to send it back. And so it all worked out in the end. This is the new Tweety Brothers. Try to let you see it there. This is on Pearson. This came out in like 2017, I think. Definitely not, it's not the hexagon cover, thankfully. I love this cover much more. This album was originally released in a hexagon cover, which had like it was six-sided, and so it didn't really fit in the shelves back in the day, so it often got pretty torn up and beat up in the shelves, and oftentimes they had to sell this album originally behind the counter, and just kind of sunk without a trace, back in the day, and didn't sell at all. It was believed to have been pressed, 1,000 copies or so. But yeah, very happy about this Pearson reissue because it actually has the master tape sound quality going for it. It sounds very, very good. Way above the digital YouTube samples that I've heard. Comes with a nice booklet featuring some nice Billboard uh, concert photos and you know the whole backstory. Some photos in there. There's actually some nice footage on YouTube of it's kind of like a music video they did back in the day, and some of these photographs are from that film shoot. And you can watch it on YouTube. You search New Tweety Brothers, and these guys play with the big headliners, you know, like Grateful Dead, 13-4 Elevators. These guys were originally based from the Oregon area, and then they later, you know, relocated to San Francisco since it was such a booming scene at the time. And you know, they did pretty well for a lot of the ballrooms and all the different places they played. And so musically, this album is, you know, again, probably another example of where the band was probably really good live. However, the studio effects, they could have used a little more time in the studio to kind of create their own original writing a little better, perhaps. The one member that speaks in the booklet even says something like, you know, they kind of wish some of the writing was a little more thought out. It doesn't really capture who they were in some spots, and that makes sense. But there, it opens up very well. Two of my favorite tracks, "Somebody's Peeping" and I can feel it. Is that what it's called? Or "I Can See It." One of the two. Um, Both killer opening tracks. And, yeah, it's kind of based around like a West Coast kind of folk rock sound for the most part, with some psychedelic flourishes in between, with like a lot of overdubs. There's some backwards guitars, some Middle Eastern influences, but mostly kind of a West Coast folk rock. And some of it's kind of basic, and sometimes they don't stretch out very far. They are kind of basic tunes, but the first two tracks will stick in your head for a while, that's for sure. So yeah, it was kind of a nice surprise to see this coming in the mail when, you know, I didn't even order it, but it's one I've been kind of eyeballing for a while. Here's the hype sticker. Try to get that in there. Yeah, very. And I'll show you why he messed up the orders. I'll show you why here. So the one I was really after, funny enough, has the same type of cover, and so he actually mixed up the orders by, you know, the way the sleeves are designed. I mean, I could see how someone could do that. You know, it's both a foil cover and black and white. And so thankfully, you know, I contacted him about it and we got the thing settled, and I can't believe this came already today. And this is one of ours. And this is well, it's not a repress. It's actually an original release, never had been released on, this is on the Outsider label, another Pearson project. And this is called "When You Hear the Music, It's Yours." As you can see, it's another foil cover, and so, you know, it's got kind of this cutout photo here, where you can, and it's actually the insert. This band was known as Dandelion Wine during these sessions. And if you guys know the band One of Ours, they're pretty much known for their single "Psychedelic Illusion." I think it's their only single too. It's got some photos in the inside here. And I think this guy was kind of like the leader of the band, who passed away like in '85, I think it said. So yeah, and here's the back before I forget it. So yeah, it's basically taken from like this tape reel, and you know, they did plan to, you know, kind of send off this demo to Liberty Records at the time, and at the time I think they were switching over to United Artists, so it was kind of like just bad timing on their end, I guess, or either the tapes didn't make it to the studio executives and they just kind of passed on the whole deal. But yeah, just try to imagine this record being on Liberty label. It's kind of one of the ways you can enjoy it better. But so musically, this is like one of my favorite discoveries this year so far. This actually came out last year, 2019, in April, I think. And this is basically archival material planned to release back in the day but never did. And musically, this is very lo fi, very crude sounding garage psych, I would say. Mostly psych. This has got a lot of heavily psychedelic effects going throughout. Backwards guitar. They even make their homemade effects going on with like different tape loops and sort of that xylophone psych effect that you hear in Chocolate Watch Band. The Inner Mystique, I think, uses that effect. Strawberry Alarm Clock uses that as well. But like chipmunk voices on one track, just lots of different moods and elements thrown in. Lots of backward effects, like I said, and they use that Leslie voice on the vocals, typically used for an organ, that rotary vocal sound. Love it. So, yeah, I'll show the little hype sticker for this one. Oops. So yeah, this is a very, I would highly recommend this. I don't know, I think Randy may have this. Uh, Freaks in the Garage. I think he may have this one, but I may have seen him pull this one. I'm not sure, but I do recommend it to Randy or anyone else watching this. As you can see, I hold a teddy bear up for my camera. Hey, it works, right? Better than the other ideas I had in mind for the camera. I was using like a selfie stick to hold it up, but my phone does not like that. I guess it kind of bugs out and stuff. So I just kind of hold it up against something, and it's my little tripod, and that's how it works. So with that said, those are the 5 releases, and like I said, I'm going to say it once again, here's a little promotional ad. Check out my Discogs if you have time. I have some good items up for sale. Nothing too mind-blowing, but if you guys are interested at all, or if you want to shoot me a offer or something, I might swing that by. I'm trying to think. I don't have anything else coming in the mail except for these grails that I spoke of earlier, which should be in about a week or two. So we'll see. Yeah, the year's going well, but pretty fast. I can't wait till this year is over with. It's sad to say, but I really had some high hopes for some vacation planning, before the whole pandemic, and then here we go. So I've just been staying home a lot, unfortunately. I'm definitely one of those people that loves to get out and do things when I have days off work, and just not looking that way so far. I've only been back to my hometown, a couple times. So yeah, I get kind of homesick, I guess, but I don't know. We're all living through it, so I guess I'm doing pretty well. Anyways, that's all I got. So I may do a live stream this weekend. We shall see. I've had 3 weekends off in a row, so I've just, been spending a lot of time doing other things while I can't go anywhere. So I'll try to sneak in a live stream perhaps Saturday or Friday. We'll see. So, anyways, take care. Got any questions, let me know. And I recommend one of ours out of all of them. And we shall see you soon.